All right, so today we are going to be discussing hurricanes as well as looking at how we as humans impact weather and climate. And so we're going to be talking about that information. But before we do that, if you're on your computers, you need to stop working on them right now and pay attention. I'm going to tell you what you need to be doing for your project so that you are up to date on that. So go ahead and take your project sheet out so you can be marking the things that you need to do. If you take a look at the screen, you will notice it says project for day 3. Day 3 is now getting a little bit more aggressive in what you're doing. Day 1 and day 2 was just observing the weather and jotting down the types of clouds that you see. Day 3 has to do that and a little bit more. So for day 3, you are going to be documenting the clouds and the weather and drawing the clouds that you see, but you are also going to be answering some questions and predicting. So if you take a look at the screen that looks like your project sheet. For day 3, you are working in this box here. What time, before what time do you need to be looking at the weather? Before 5:15, 5:30-ish, depending on where you are in your area, because it's going to get dark. So you need to be documenting the date and the time. You need to be putting the types of clouds that you see and drawing the clouds, as well as putting the type of weather that's out there. Looking down underneath this chart, you also need to answer this question. Do you see a connection? That's a yes or no question. But the next part, you have to go further. If you see a connection, explain what the connection is. If you don't see a connection, then you need to also do something there. All right? Now, going a little bit further, you need to look at your, on the back of that sheet for part 2. Part 2 is now cloud data, but the only part you're going to be doing for today is part A of part 2, where it says use the information from the weather you observed from day 1 through 3 and make some predictions of what the weather will be and the types of clouds that will be out there on days 4 through 7. So on today, in addition to that, you will be working in this box only. Still make sure you have the dates here, but you're not going to put a time because you're not observing it yet. You are only making predictions. So you are going to predict what you think the weather is going to be on day 4, what you think the clouds are going to be, what you think it's going to be on day 5, day 6, and day 7. And that's all you're doing for today. Okay? All right, then back to what we're going to be talking about on today. We talked about hurricanes. We talked about severe weather. So right now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and view a live, well, not live, it didn't happen right now, but a hurricane that happened and view it as it was happening. I just want you to take in some of this information. Hit the bottom light. Take in some of this information, and then we're going to do a little bit more discussion. So let's just take a look here.
That was so incredible. Oh man. Wow, that's incredible. I think the view across that water is pretty good.
Remember, this is not the ocean, right? Because this is right in the middle. People go to this establishment. This is a parking lot. And this is inside of a building, possibly a school. All right, so looking at that, just giving you an idea, because thankfully none of us have been caught in a hurricane. We've only seen them on TV and seen them here. When we looked at severe weathers, we said, I told you that hurricanes were one of the ones that was the least predictable, meaning they can tell you it's hurricane season because this is when hurricanes normally happen, But unlike when they tell you that today we're going to have chances of rain and a thunderstorm, hurricanes are the least predictable. Why? What were some of the reasons for that? Why are you looking at me crazy and you don't have your notes out? Looking at your notes, interpreting that information, why do you feel like hurricanes, or why is it that hurricanes are the least predictable? I'll give you a hint. What are some of the conditions that has to be present for a hurricane to happen? Shania, stop right there. When you're on vacation, do you want to be on vacation where the water is freezing cold? No, you want it to be kind of coolish, warmish water that you can swim and you can enjoy in, right? So right now, you're on vacation. You're swimming in the water on the beach. You're walking through the sand. You're letting the water hit your feet. Does any of that say danger, you need to be fearful for your life? No. All right, so what else? What are the other conditions? Janie? Nope. Right before then. Air spins and rises. Again, you're back on the beach. It's 100 degrees outside, 95 degrees outside, because this big major thing is in the sky that's heating things up, which is called the sun. So it's heating up the water. It's also heating up you. When you're that hot, you want there to be a what? You want there to be a nice breeze. So as you're walking along the beach, or you're laying on the beach getting a tan, or you're reading a book, or you're making a sandcastle with your friends, or burying somebody in the sand, or whatever it is that you're doing to enjoy your vacation, that warm breeze is flying by you, and you're happy about that. That feels good, correct? Even if it's a warm, hard breeze, not a harsh one that's blowing you all over the beach, but where your hair is flying in the wind, that's okay. You're still having fun, and that wind feels good. Nothing there tells you that you're in danger, correct? Until what? Until the winds pick up to about 74 miles per hour. Even when the winds are kind of going, you're like, whoa, whoa, that wind is kind of rough. When you're in the water and your waves are coming, you're having so much fun. But when those winds start to pick up and you start to get rain and things of that nature, then there becomes a problem. But that happens suddenly. Prior to then, everything's fine, right? That is why hurricanes are so unpredictable. Now, we're going to take a look at human impact on weather and climate, because the reason why our weather is changing the way that it is, the way that it was years ago, it's not the same that it is now. So that's why meteorologists always will have a job, because they always have to investigate weather changing patterns so that they can be able to assist everyone in being safe. And we do things, whether they're intentional, meaning that we do them on purpose, whether unintentional, meaning that we don't really mean to harm the earth, and maybe it's things that we just do that we have to do, like drive. Those types of things impact our weather, and we need to be able to understand how they impact the weather and the climate. So if there's things that we can eliminate, or things that we can stop, or even as you guys get older and you become college and career-based individuals, some of you may develop something that will help our environment, because this is the only earth that we have to live on. So we have to make sure that it's safe. So we're going to be taking a look at human impact on weather and climate. So if you take a look at your sheet that you have in front of you that looks like this, there is a front and a back. You will be working with your table. Jimmy, I'm going to have you come over here in a moment. You'll be working with your table I'm going to actually put you two over here, and all of you will work together, and all of you will work together. You're going to be working with your table to complete it. In order to complete it, you do have to go to my website, and a lot of you have already done that. And when you go to the website, the first 2 pages are the pages that you actually have in front of you. And then when you scroll further, here's where you have the documented information. So on page 3, it kind of gives you some background information that you will need to read. It tells you what you're going to be doing with this activity, your materials. You will be doing some calculating, so you will need your calculators on your computer. You will be doing measurements and analyzing data using the charts that are there. And then starting with procedure 1, it tells you what you're doing, the chart that you're using, and the questions that you will be answering using that chart. If you scroll further, part 2 tells you exactly what you're going to be doing and what questions you're going to be answering using this chart. Same thing with question 3. And on the last page, the number 4 got cut off, but it will also tell you what you're doing there. Chances are because today's our short day, you will not finish in class, and that's okay. The only homework you have is to work on that project stuff. I want you, when you're finished, to put this paper back in your binder and bring it tomorrow so that we can work on it and discuss it on tomorrow. Are there any questions about what it is that you need to be doing in class right now?